Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into Job chapter 14 today,
Oh.
taking a really close look at what this particular text suggests about, well, human existence, our place in the world according to this specific viewpoint.
It's a really profound chapter. It gets right to the heart of the human struggle with mortality
Mm-hmm.
and suffering.
Yeah,
Job opens with this incredibly raw picture of life.
he does. He describes man born of woman as someone of few days, full of trouble. I mean, right away, it's just this picture of fragility, hardship.
And people are like,
He uses images like springing up like a flower and then just withering, or passing away like a fleeting shadow. It's just this intense feeling of transience.
it is. And the language is pretty stark, a shadow that does not last.
Yeah.
And then he immediately asks, why would divine attention even focus on such a vulnerable temporary being?
Right, especially one heading for judgment.
Exactly. And there's that bit about cannot bring purity from impurity, sort
Yeah.
of implying this inherent limitation part of the deal alongside these decreed days and limits.
It's like the foundation is just vulnerability, finiteness.
Yeah.
It almost feels, I don't know, a bit resentful. Like, why bother with us if this is how it is?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this sudden shift. Really fascinating. It pivots from humans to nature, specifically a tree.
Yes. And this is where the contrast just becomes incredibly sharp,
Right.
really poignant. Job says, for there is hope for a tree.
Right.
If it is cut down, that it will sprout again. Its shoots won't cease. He even adds that, though its root might seem old and dead in the earth.
Yeah.
Just the scent of water, that's all it takes. It can bud and put out branches like a young plant.
That image is so powerful. Just the scent of water bringing life back. It speaks to that whole cycle, doesn't it? Death and renewal in nature.
It does. But what makes it so striking here is how it immediately highlights the perceived lack of that cycle for humans in this text.
Exactly, because it flips right back to man, stating the complete opposite.
Right. But man dies and is laid low. Man breathes his last and is no more. I mean, the contrast couldn't be clearer.
No.
And the text uses these really vivid final images. Water vanishing from the sea, a riverbed drying up completely, gone.
To show that when man lies down, he does not rise. Until, well, that phrase is something else.
Until the heavens are no more.
Yeah.
It's staggering. It suggests an end so complete it's tied to the very fabric of the universe.
And that leads straight into what feels like the central agonizing question of the chapter, or at least this moment of just desperate thought.
It does. If a man dies, will he live again? It's right there, plain as day. And it's followed by this brief, almost, yearning bit. Job expresses this wish to be hidden, concealed in the grave.
Yeah, maybe until divine anger passes, hoping for a set time to be remembered.
Exactly. There's this little flicker of a thought, maybe the divine would call, would long for the creature made by their hands, maybe not keeping track of every sin.
It feels like such a fragile hope, doesn't it? Pushing against all that finality he just described.
It really does. But almost tragically, that flicker seems to get snuffed out just as quickly as it appears here.
Yeah, it pivots back again.
It does. Using these powerful images of, like, geological time, relentless natural forces, as mountains fall and crumble away,
And as the rock is removed from its place, as waters wear away stone.
and torrents wash away the soil of the earth, and another punchline, so too, the text says, human hope is destroyed.
Wow. That's a devastating parallel. So nature, which offered the contrast of renewal with the tree, now offers a parallel of destruction when it comes to hope itself. Mountains crumbling, water wearing away stone, slow, relentless, final. And that's what this view says happens to hope.
Precisely. And the passage wraps up by really hammering home that finality, that isolation.
Man is overpowered, gone, his appearance changed, sent away.
And knows nothing about his kids, whether they're honored or brought low. He just feels his own pain, mourns only for himself. That connection to the living world just cut.
Yeah, the focus narrows right down to just personal suffering in the end. So, taking it all in, what does this deep dive into Job 14 really leave us with? It's such an intense, unflinching look at the perceived limits and hardships of life from this specific viewpoint.
It really forces you to confront the stark contrast this perspective draws between, the cyclical, seemingly resilient natural world, that tree coming back to life,
Right.
and this presented view of human life as just fragile, temporary, ending in what seems like total finality here.
And that brief question, will he live again? It feels less like real hope and more like just a cry from despair, quickly drowned out by the imagery of hope itself eroding like rock. It's a perspective that, well, it doesn't offer much easy comfort.
No, it doesn't. And if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this intense wrestling with despair, with mortality, with this apparent lack of renewal for humanity in this text, it poses some really profound questions. It definitely challenges any easy answers about suffering, about the human condition. What does this particular, very difficult perspective from Job tell you about the nature of hope, or maybe the fear of finality?
Yeah. Certainly gives you a challenging lens, something to think about for sure.